Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Dashers All Access, your one-stop shop for all your Dashers needs. I'm your host, Aaron Martin, and in this show, we're going to take you in-depth behind the scenes and everywhere in between of everything you need to know about your Danville Dashers. So let's not waste any time. Let's go back to this past Saturday when the Whalers came to town. We've got your recap right now.
The night began with an assembly line pass up to Joe Pace, who cranked one in from the blue line to put the Dashers up early with a power play. Danbury would answer back just minutes later, tying the game at 1 apiece. Here's an interesting play as the Dashers' Brian Soskin attempts to get something going here. A quick pass over to Giuliano, who loses control of the puck. Anthony dives for the save, but it's too late. Whalers capitalize to bring the score to 2-1. Third period, it's time to get something going. Brian Soskin brings the puck up ice, pass back to John Scully, and he ties it up. A little later, Alex Millie takes a shot in the zone, gets deflected by the goalie, but Jonathan Giuliano is there to bring the Dashers up by 1. Danville's attempt to keep this lead ends at 14 minutes with a goal from Danbury's Tim Richter, and we see overtime hockey. This nail-biter comes to a head with a well-thought-out plan from the Dashers. Pace to Scully, handed off to Levac, who takes the puck around the Whalers. Shot fired and Scully scoops it into the net. The Danville Dashers beat the Danbury Whalers and take third place in the standings.
I'm Joe Pace from the Danville Dashers. Join us February 28th as we fight cancer.
Over the weekend, the Danville Dashers raised over $25,000 to the Presence United Samaritans Cancer Center. The Danville Dashers organization would like to thank everyone who donated to this great cause.
I'm standing here with John Scully, and I wanted to ask you real quick, how did it feel to get that game winner at the end of overtime on Saturday?
It was great. I mean, after it was a big crowd out there. It was a fight cancer night. It was nice to put on a good show, and fans got a little extra going into overtime. And guys have been working hard all week, and to get that far and finally pull out the overtime winner was great. It was a nice pass by Mo, just looking for my stick, and fortunate enough to win that. It
was also a very tough game. Can you speak to the fans about the toughness of the game and how hard it was to play through a game like that and make it to overtime and get the win?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you get 3 lines going out there, and when you get in the rhythm, you really want to wear the other team down, especially they had a short bench coming on the weekend. They were rolling 2.5 lines, so our game plan was to get in there on the forecheck and kind of wear them down to the point where they didn't want to go back and win those races, and kind of beat them up a little bit to take the wind out of their sail.
Beat them up, you did. Ladies and gentlemen, that was John Scully. You got the win for the Dashers.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And here are your Federal Hockey League standings as of today. Right now we've got Watertown in first place, Dayton in second place, Danville in third place, and right below them we've got Danbury. Berkshire and Steel City head up the tail end. And there are your Federal Hockey League standings right now in the 2014-2015 season. I'm sitting here with Joe Pace. We're after a crazy weekend of games, 2 overtimes, right, back to back. What are your feelings on that?
It was 2 exciting games. I'm just happy we came out on top of both of them.
All right, now you're going up against, you're going into 2 games against Dayton, which is a potential playoff opponent. How do you feel about that, and how important do you think is it to make a strong showing against those?
We play them a lot, but every game is intense, so I'm sure these 2 are going to be really intense, and we could pretty much read the writing on the wall that we're going to play them in the first round, and if we don't, we'll probably see them in the finals, but they're going to be intense games, and you just got to prepare by resting. Just letting your body heal from last weekend.
Those are good words to live by. Thanks a lot to Joe Pace. Good luck in these next 2 games.
Thank you.
These 2 teams would face off once again Sunday night. This one sees the Dashers score first as John Scully continues where he left off. Scully has been on fire these past 2 games. Whalers answer back with a shot from number 33, Zach Kuda. Danbury would continue to tack on the numbers with a breakaway from number 27. This one is just too much for the goalie Brenton Lindoff, and Danbury leads 2-1. This play ties things up as Soskin passes over to Tesserero, who shoots it up to Levac. Justin Levac takes the shot, and Brian Soskin drills it into the goalie. Overtime play sees AJ Tesserero and Justin Levac trading the puck back and forth and reaming it right through Mike Brown in the goal. Dashers end their home season strong as they send the Whalers back to Connecticut packing.
All right, I'm standing here with Coach Harrison after a wild weekend of overtimes. How are you preparing to go into these games against Dayton?
Well, you know what, last weekend was a good showing. Every game from now on is going to be really tight. And we got to play that style of game, you know, especially this weekend going into Dayton, but also into the playoffs. So it was a great test for us, and I think, I don't know if we played our best hockey, but we played sound enough that, and we were very competitive, and we fought right to the end and got 2 wins in overtime. So those things really pleased me as far as the team, that we never gave up and battled all the way through.
Speaking of the playoffs, you were going to be taking on a potential playoff opponent in Dayton these next 2 games. How important is it to make a strong showing against Dayton, knowing that you might be taking them on in the playoffs?
Well, you know, we've played them pretty tight all year long, and you know, I think this weekend here is more or less for us personally is play a good sound game, and I always want to win, and I'm not ever going to say that, but we just got to come out healthy and go into the next week feeling good about ourselves, and I think we do as a group. We know we can play with those 2 teams, and Watertown or Dayton for the playoffs, and I think in our minds, if we're feeling good about ourselves, we're going to have good playoffs.
All right, you also mentioned fighting. How impressed were you with your team's ability to fight to the end, knowing that, you know, they were fighting for 3rd place and they went to 2 overtime games and they were able to fight through it and pick up those wins?
Well, that was huge. You know, and the thing I preached all year long is you're not always going to feel your best. You're not always going to be on all cylinders, and those are the teams good teams that fight those, you know, fight through that and keep battling and to win those types of games. And you know, we've done that. We went on an 11-game winning streak there, and we won a lot of games like that. So I'm really pleased with where we are right now.
All right, so one final question. What do you think you guys can do better offensively and defensively to get yourselves prepared for the playoffs?
Well, you know, it's our little lapses. Like on the weekend there, we had a minute lapse where, you know, things didn't go the way our way, and we got to clear that. And then it's our special teams there, our power play. We struggled quite a bit there, and we're going to work on that the next 2 weeks here, hopefully, and get that to where put some fear in the other teams here. I think that's the one where we lost some momentum. So it's basically the power play, but everything else, and as I said, those little mental lapses we've had every once in a while. But for the most part, I'm pretty pleased.
All right. Well, that's all we got for you today. Good luck in the next couple of games, and hopefully we'll make a strong push for the playoffs.
Well, I'm excited about it, and as I said, just the support we've had the last weekend and actually all year long, and I know the guys are really excited about playoffs, so it should be a fun time.
All right, that was Coach Harrison. Thank you, Danville, for watching the inaugural episode of Dashers All Access, your home for all your Dashers needs. Now make sure you follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and DanvilleDashers.com because the playoffs are right around the corner. I'm Aaron Martin. Thank you for watching Dashers All Access.
Your Danville Dashers will end their season on the road with 2 games in Dayton on March 6th and 7th and 1 game in the Garden against Steel City.